Hi and welcome back. This is the fifth video in the series of making Brick Collider, my version of the awesome 1970s game Breakout. Thus far we've created the screen for our display and centered it, created a ball and have it move around and bouncing off the sides of the screen. The paddle with the ball also bounces off, and in the last video saw the creation of our blocks for our game. Nothing however happens when they're hit by the ball. Okay, so let's make that now. Sprite comes with a sprite collide function, so that's what we'll be using. But we need to define a function here in the ball class. So def block collide, right, we take itself in. It needs to bring in the sprites that we're going to check, which is the block group. So we're going to just call it sprite group here, and then do this. If the collide, it needs to do something, so we go if pygame.sprite collide, and then we need to bring in the ball and the sprite group, which is the block group, to see if they collide basically. And then we put in a value here for true, which will actually eliminate the sprite in the sprite group of the block, right? So when if they do collide, we need to change the direction. So we go self diry equals minus self diry. Okay, basically it takes in the sprite group, and the true will get rid of it. If we set it to false, it won't actually destroy the group, the sprite in the group. Now we need to call for that function, and in that we'll do that in the ball loop here. So we go balls dot block collide underscore collide, and then we take in the block group as well, bl underscore group. Okay, so let's save it and check to see if it works. There we go. And so it's a paddle, hit the block, that's brilliant, gets rid of it, try it again. Gone, and let's try it once more. And grand. Right, so that's that then. Okay. Okay, so let's create some level constants now. Basically, just after we've done the colours, we'll call in levels. Level 1 equals, and these are going to be lists. Right, I'll just paste in what I did before. Get rid of this because it pasted in too much. They're just in human readable form. Basically, they are generally just a long list, but I set them this way so we can see them better. B is just going to be a standard block. X here are going to be an empty block. And then in level 3, I'm just going to introduce a golden block. So I'll just tap it and add in a load of G's. Now, basically, we're going to check for which level we're on, and then what level that is, and what letters in it, and then create a block based on that. Okay, so we need to define a function in the main class to create a level. So we go def create level. Now that needs to take in the self, obviously, and then the block group, and we're going to take in a level. So basically we're going to compare which level we're on and then create the blocks for that level. Okay, so we'll need some if statements here. So if level equals 1 colon, let's call level equals level 1. Level equals level 1. Right, so then do an elif statement next. So basically, else if the level is 2, if level equals 2, we'll call level equals level 2. All in capitals again because we stated the constants at the start as that. Okay, so we're just going to make 3 levels, so we'll just go else level equals level 3 then. So now we need to create some for loops to create the actual blocks. We'll just take the code that we used earlier and we can modify it to be used by this function down here, the level create function. So just paste it in. Now subtract the tabs that we need to bring that one back. Now, so we're going to call this row in level. Okay, that's the level that we wrote in there earlier, which will point to this, and the first lot of blocks there will be the first row. Now, next one we'll change the column in row. So basically, whatever single block is in the row. Okay, so we get rid of the extra bits that we added there, because all we need to do is bring in the b underscore x and b underscore y. Now we need the starting values for the b underscore x and b underscore y, and we just copy and paste them into the just before the for loop there. Okay. So now we've broken down the lists into single segments of B's and C's or whatever they are. So we need to check to see what block it is. So if call equals, in this case a B, we just want to create a standard block. So we'll just use this code here. Just tab these across so that Python knows that it's part of this if statement, and that'll just create a standard block. Next is the X. So if call equals X in this case, we don't actually want to create a block. We just need to skip across a space for the block. So we go b underscore x equals or plus equals 55. Okay, the tab looks a bit off there, so let's correct that. There we go. Now next is the golden block. So if call equals G, in this case capital again, we need to do this. So we want to copy this, and then we can just paste it in here and add gold as one of the arguments here. So gold. Now that should just create a block of type gold when we get to level 3 basically. Now, so we need to now call that function to actually create a level. So we just go in here for the moment and we should tab across, and we go self dot create underscore level. Now it needs to take in some parameters. So it needs to take in the block group, the BL underscore group, and it also needs to take in level so it can check. Now we also need to create our starting point, which is level 1. Okay, so if level is 1, it's going to run this, which will loop back to this, which will create that as the level, and then it'll just loop through it, creating the blocks as it goes. Okay, so let's save it and run. Let's see how we go. So this is level 1. Grand. You have 4 blue rows by 9 blocks and columns. Now let's change it to 2. See how that goes. It should be missing a few blocks. Here we go. The X is there in that case, are the missing blocks. And change it to 3, and we should get a row of gold blocks. And off we go. There we go. Here's our row of gold blocks and all. So we now need a way to loop through levels. So basically, if we check if a block group is empty, so if not BL underscore group, that means if there's no sprites or blocks in that group, we wanted to create them. So basically we tab that, just create that, and then we want to increase the level, so level plus equals 1. So basically when all the blocks are destroyed, the level will be increased then. Okay, that actually won't run, well it will run there, but it won't create level 2 because it'll be stuck in the game loop. So we need to bring that actual code down into the running loop. So we'll tab that across, and we shall add it just there before all the things are. Just tab it across, make sure that it's within the while loop, not externally. Okay, so that should now, when we end the level, it'll loop back through it and then create level 2, and then when all the blocks are gone in that, it should create level 3. And that's it running now. So it just creates level 1 anyway. I won't go through the whole lot with you anyway, just it'll take a while to get rid of all them blocks. Okay, so let's just finish off now. There's a little mistake there in level 3. Just go get rid of that now. There's a little comma there in the end. So delete that. Won't really make much of a difference, but anyway, shouldn't be there. Now, if at the end of a level the ball will have a certain position, we need to reset that position back to where it originates. Otherwise the ball will get trapped at the top where the blocks are and it'll just bounce all around there. So we need to create a reset or a set position function in ball. So we go ball dot set dot holds, and then we'll go down and define a function in ball that will just reset the position to what it was before. So just after move here, we'll just define it. So def set underscore holds, we have to take in self, and then we want to change the self.rect.x and self.rect.y code to basically what it was before. So we'll just copy it here and paste, and then copy the y down and paste it also. Okay, so that's when the level is over. It'll create new blocks and it'll also reset the position of the ball to the normal starting position. Okay, then that's our blocks all created by level and our incrementation of levels. So when we end the level, it'll go on to the next level. It will also reset the ball, so all good there. Coming up in the next video now, we'll be adding text, say for an introduction, and maybe adding more text to say what level you're on, and then maybe give you a slight countdown into the game or the levels before it actually starts. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.